Court is now in session for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, please list the charges. The defendant is charged with criminal negligence in the death of Justin Way. The death occurred at the Oranax Arcane refinery last night. Mr. Way was an employee of the Dracogen Trading Company, a company owned by the defendant. During work hours, the victim accidentally broke a poorly maintained safety rail and fell into a vat of corrosive chemicals. Attempts to save his life failed, and his body almost fully dissolved. I see. What a gruesome end. The defendant displayed clear negligence in maintaining the refinery's facilities. As such, the responsibility for Mr. Way's death falls squarely on his shoulders. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Noah Morrison to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Yes, the name's Noah Morrison. I'm the harbor master at Oranax's harbor. It's my understanding that you witnessed the accident that night. Am I correct? I did. Could you please testify to the court about what you witnessed? I was showing a visitor around the city, and for some reason he really wanted to see the Oranax Arcane refinery. He was inspecting the machines there when suddenly Mosurika ran up to us. She was desperately trying to tell us something, but there was just too much noise. After a while, she just pointed at the walkway overlooking the refinery. That's where we saw someone fall into that accursed vat. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke through it as he fell. So there was a safety rail that should have protected the victim. Yes, however, upon closer inspection, the city guard found that the rails were extremely rusted. They were clearly poorly maintained by the company. I see. And this negligence is the basis for the prosecution's charges. Are you going to present the traces of transmutation that we found? I can't help but feel like there's something in Morrison's testimony that doesn't add up. Right now, those traces are the only defense we have against Von Sanctus's accusations. It's not a piece that I want to use just yet. And once you use that piece, who knows how the judge will react. Not much has changed with Morrison's testimony. However, you've collected a lot more evidence since you last spoke to him. Is there anything you found that contradicts his testimony? So I want to read the fine print. So yeah, after seeing him fall, she tried to get the attention. So I don't know if we're able to use that immediately, but let's just press for now. I was showing a visitor around the city, and for some reason he really wanted to see the Oranax Arcane refinery. This was the patron you mentioned before, am I correct, Morrison? Aster seemed keen on keeping his identity hidden. It would probably be best to leave it at that. Aside from being a mage, he hasn't given you much reason to suspect him. For now. He was inspecting the machines there when suddenly Mosurika ran up to us. Are you referring to Mosurika Tudor, owner of the local cafe? For whatever reason, she was also there and witnessed the accident. Yes, we are already well aware of that. Mosurika's testimony was a lot less detailed than Morrison and Aster's testimony. She was probably more focused on saving Justin than taking in her surroundings. But are there any points where her testimony doesn't add up with Morrison's? So they're even dropping you a hint there. She was desperately trying to tell us something, but there was just too much noise. And this noise came from the machines in the refinery, I presume. Those machines were loud as all hell. I could barely hear myself think with that noise. There was no way I could hear young Mosurika over all that. After a while, she just pointed at the walkway overlooking the refinery. That's where we saw someone fall into that accursed vat. You mentioned that you saw someone fall into the vat. Did you not recognize the person? Well, I didn't know the lad personally, and it was pretty far away. I couldn't get a good look at the person. Maybe you should keep a pin on that detail. Anyways, could you go into more detail about the moment you witnessed the accident? Of course. What do you want to know about? So, let's see if they'll let us do all of these. What happened to the guardrail before Justin fell? Well, I saw him lean on it. It should have prevented him from falling off the walkway. But the rail just broke the instant he put his weight on it. That's how he fell into the vat. I see. Could you please include that detail in your testimony? If you think it'll help. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke through it as he fell. And you saw the guardrail break. It was hard to see most things from that distance, but I definitely noticed that. It definitely made an impression on me. It's like those rails were made out of cardboard. Which only proves our point. A properly maintained guardrail should not have broken that easily. You shouldn't present the magical traces yet. There might be more that you can get out of Morrison's testimony. Not much has changed about Morrison's account of events. With the new evidence you collected, however, there might be a detail that doesn't match his testimony. You just need to re-examine everything you learned since you spoke with him. So I was curious if they were going to give us a Celeste hint there or not. What was Mosarika doing the moment you saw Justin fall? I told you, didn't I? She was the one who pointed to the walkway in the first place. That's how we saw Justin fall. I see. Could you please include that detail? Hold on a second. So does that change his fifth one? What was your companion doing the moment that you saw Justin fall? Couldn't do much. He was staying next to me. He saw Justin fall into the vat too. I see. Could you please include that detail if you think it'll help? So yeah, that does change that one. So that may have been the difference in the previous chapter that I didn't know about. And I don't know if any of the newer Phoenix Wright games do this, or Ace Attorney, I guess. I only bothered with the trilogy, I just never got interested in Apollo Justice. Did you see the guardrail before Justin broke it? What kind of condition was it in? More specifically, was there any rust on it? I can't say I could make out those details. It was pretty far away, I could barely make out the figure that fell into the vat. Include the detail in the testimony if you think it'll help. So we need to change that fifth one. So, let me press this real quick. You couldn't see anything, not even a small fleck of rust. It was far away, lad. I could barely make out the person that fell into the vat. Wait, then how did you know it was Justin that fell in then? What? Who else could have it been? We found remnants of the victim's personal effects in the vat. Justin Wayne was definitely the person that fell into those corrosive chemicals. So yeah, I want to see if they'll let me do it here.
Objection!
Nope, you can tell from the music that it doesn't go. Ah, crap, I went the wrong one.
Objection!
So yeah, I don't know why the check mark that threw me for a loop. Yeah. Don't doubt your first inclinations, folks. Wait, what? Witness, you said that you saw the victim fall into the vat. Did this happen before, during, or after Mosarika tried to get your attention? It was definitely after. If it weren't for the commotion she made, I wouldn't have looked up there in the first place. It's just as you thought, but what does this mean? Morrison, I spoke with Mosarika about what she saw. She said that she saw Justin fall off of the walkway and then rushed to you for help. Aye, sounds about right. No, Morrison, it actually doesn't. What do you mean? If Mosarika saw Justin fall before she went to get help, then how did you see him fall after she came to you for help? What? Morrison, Mosarika came to you for help. This was in reaction to seeing Justin fall off the walkway. If that's true, then how could you have possibly seen Justin fall off the walkway again afterward? I have no idea. Mr. Cuthbert, you're disputing the witness's testimony over a minor detail. It's entirely possible that Mr. Morrison or Miss Tudor simply misremembered. I highly doubt that Morrison misremembered the order of what happened. His testimony matches up exactly with the testimony of his companion. Then Miss Tudor must be the one who's mistaken. I'm compelled to agree with Miss Steelwind. These conflicting accounts seem extremely minor. The prosecution's case is based on the broken guardrail, and only 3 individuals witnessed Justin White break said guardrail. The defense asserts that these 3 witnesses' accounts must be consistent with each other. Otherwise, this evidence is not strong enough to find my client liable. Please, the break in the guardrail is directly over the vat. That is enough physical evidence. It proves that the victim fell in because the railing broke. How do we know that the guardrail wasn't broken by some other event? That's ludicrous. You're clearly just playing devil's advocate. I'll admit that I also find the defense's assertion dubious. However, I see no harm in allowing Miss Tudor to testify to what she saw. Rika saw a lot less than Morrison and Aster did, and her testimony was a lot less detailed. But the one detail she did remember was that she saw Justin fall off the walkway. Hopefully her testimony might clear up what happened. Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. This is probably Rika's first time testifying in a courtroom. You hope she'll be okay. As if I need such introductions, but allow me to indulge you all. Oh lord, is she seriously doing that here? I am Mosarika Tudor, Dark Lord of Ornax, High Archmage of the Cadmium Flames, and business proprietor of Sweet Confections. So shouldn't Sweet Confections be capitalized, or is that not the name of the place? I see. I was not aware we were in the presence of such a renowned individual. Wait, does he actually believe her? Your Honor, Mosarika Tudor is the owner of a local cafe in Ornax. But isn't she also a High Archmage? I am. No, she really isn't. Tyrion, you're ruining my flow. Yeah, stop ruining her flow, Tyrion. You would say that your flow is the most disrupted right now. Anyways, Miss Tudor, you were at the Ornax refinery on the night of the accident, and you witnessed the moment that the victim fell off of the walkway, am I correct? Yes, that's right. Sadness. According to your statement, you ran up to Morrison after you saw Justin fall off the walkway. The problem is that there's a contradiction between both of your testimonies. There's a contradiction? Morrison testified that he didn't see the victim fall into the vat until after you approached him. This wouldn't make sense, though. You saw the victim fall off the walkway before you ran up to Morrison. Morrison couldn't have possibly seen the victim fall again after that. Oh, I think I see what happened. You do. I think you're misunderstanding what I said before. I misunderstood you. If that's true, could you please testify to the court exactly what happened? Please include every detail you can remember. Sure. I was at the refinery when I heard a strange sound from the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail. But he hadn't fallen into the vat yet. I saw him barely hanging onto the edge of the platform. I didn't know how to get to the walkway from there, so I looked for help on the ground and found Mr. Morrison. He must have seen Justin lose his grip of the ledge and fall into the vat after that. So the victim didn't immediately fall into the vat, he was hanging onto the edge of the walkway. That would explain how Mr. Morrison saw the victim fall into the vat after Miss Tudor saw him fall off the walkway. In any case, Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. I was at the refinery when I heard a strange sound from the walkway. What kind of sound did you hear? Not quite sure. If I had to guess, I'd say that it sounded like the sound of metal hitting metal. Metal hitting metal. The refinery walkway is made out of metal, so perhaps the sound she heard was something metallic colliding with the walkway. Did something shake the walkway and make Justin lose his balance? When I looked to see what it was, I saw Justin had tumbled over the walkway's guardrail. So this was the moment you saw Justin fall off of the walkway. Yeah. And you said that he fell over the guardrail. I did, but I'm not sure how it happened. I think something caused him to lose his balance. He tumbled over the guardrail and fell right off the walkway. Interesting. But that still doesn't explain why Morrison saw him fall after he ran up to him for help. Well, I did see Justin fall from the walkway. But he hadn't fallen into the vat yet. I saw him barely hang on to the edge of the platform. He was hanging onto the ledge. Was there anyone around to help him back up? I didn't see anyone around, but I really wasn't paying attention to that. I was just focused on saving him before he fell. I assumed that if anyone was nearby, they'd immediately try to help him. I didn't know how to get to the walkway from there, so I looked around for help until I found Mr. Morrison. And did you see another individual with him? Yeah, I did. I tried to explain to him and his friend what was going on, but they couldn't hear me over the machines. That does match the testimonies that he and Aster gave you. So you couldn't hear each other over the machines, but you heard the metal on metal. Food for thought. After that, he must have seen Justin lose his grip off the ledge and fall into the vat. Did you also see this moment? No, I didn't. I was so busy trying to talk to Mr. Morrison that I didn't see it. I didn't even know what had happened until after they shut down the machines. If only Rika had seen the moment that Justin fell off too, you would have been able to compare her statement with the ones that you got from Morrison and Aster. You'll just need to focus on the other parts of her testimony. Rika's testimony is a bit different from the statement that she gave us earlier. Looking back on it, I should have asked her for more details. I was so focused on matching details with Morrison and Aster, I didn't probe her further. But now that we have a full testimony of what she saw happen, you can compare it with what Morrison and Aster saw. So let's refresh our memory. What did they see? So, Tudor frantically approached Morrison and Aster, tried to tell them something they couldn't hear over the machines. Now she was pointing at the walkway, they looked there, saw a figure lean on a guardrail and break it. Figure fell from the walkway into the vat of chemicals.
Objection!
Over. She said over, didn't she? Rika, you said that the victim tumbled over the guardrail. As in, he was thrown over it. Yes, that's right. What? Did you see the moment that the guardrail broke? No, I didn't. I already told you that, didn't I? But you did see the moment that Justin fell off the walkway. And in that moment, did you see Justin break the guardrail? No, like I told you, I didn't see the moment that guardrail broke. But that's the thing, Rika. According to Morrison, Justin Way broke the guardrail as he fell into the vat. More specifically, he said that Justin was standing on the walkway when this happened. What? According to the prosecution, Justin Way leaned on a faulty guardrail and broke it, falling into the vat. But that's not what you saw, was it, Rika? No, I saw him tumble over the guardrail. I'm afraid I don't see the importance of this, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness of perjury? There's definitely something going on here, but what? Well, Sarika is a mage, and you don't want to suspect her, but you need to consider every possibility. What is happening here? Rika was the only mage other than Aster at the refinery that day. Could she have sabotaged the guardrails and lied in her testimony? No, that doesn't make sense. She would have stuck out like a sore thumb in the refinery. Someone would have noticed her up in the walkway, even more so if she were casting a spell. And if that's true, she has no reason to lie in her testimony. Rika must have been telling the truth. What's happening here? They're both telling the truth, you guess. But how does that make sense? Okay, think through this. If we assume that Rika and Morrison are telling the truth, you need to remember the exact order of events. First, Rika saw Justin go up the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail. But he hadn't fallen into the vat yet. I saw him barely hanging onto the edge of the platform. She saw Justin fall over the guardrail and off the walkway. Justin was able to grab onto the walkway ledge. That's when Rika went to look for help. This is when she ran into Morrison and asked her. Rika came running towards us. She was trying to tell us something, but the damn machines were too loud for us to hear her. She pointed at the walkway, and that's when we saw someone fall into the vat. By the time we could get them to stop the machines, it was too late. And then there's Aster's account of events. Did you see the expression on his face? He might have been unconscious. I'm afraid I couldn't see anything on his face. It was much too dark to make out his features. Wait, you didn't actually see his face. How did you know it was actually him that fell in? Well, who else could it have been? Aster and Morrison couldn't see Justin's face. That one detail of their testimonies never sat right with you. But you dismissed your suspicions. They found Justin's body in the vat after all. You know for a fact that he fell into the vat. But you never considered one other possibility. Another person. Is that really possible? But it's the only thing that makes sense. It would also explain how Rika, Morrison, and Aster all saw someone fall off of the walkway at different times. But then, who is this second person? You don't have a choice. This is the only conclusion you can draw. I think you've had quite enough time to deliberate, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness or not? I am not accusing the witness of perjury, Your Honor. Both Miss Tudor and Mr. Morrison's testimonies appear to contradict each other, but they are both telling the truth. Then please enlighten us, Mr. Cuthbert. How could both of their testimonies possibly be true? Well, I think there's only one possible explanation. Both Miss Tudor and Mr. Morrison saw someone fall off the walkway. But the person that Miss Tudor saw and the person that Mr. Morrison saw were two different people. Are you serious, Mr. Cuthbert? Do you honestly think some random person fell into the vat moments after Justin Way fell in? It's the only conclusion that makes sense, Miss Steelwind. Miss Tudor knew the victim and recognized him. That's how she was able to confirm that it was him that fell into the vat. However, Mr. Morrison and his companion did not know the victim personally. They could barely make out his features. They only assumed that it was him after learning that he fell in. Please. It's far more likely that Miss Tudor is simply mistaken about what she saw. What? No, I'm sure I saw Justin tumble over the guardrail. And let's not forget Miss Tudor's allegiances. As a beneficiary of the Dracogen Trading Company, she has every reason to confound the case in the defendant's favor. That's not... That's enough. This is a civil case, Mr. Cuthbert, not some murder mystery for you to throw wild theories towards. Looks like you don't have a choice. You're going to have to use your trump card. You have one piece of evidence that implies that this wasn't a simple accident. Which one could it be? Are you sure about that, Your Honor? What? Justin Way's death was reported as an unfortunate accident. As a result, the city guard put minimal resources into their investigation. More specifically, there was no reason to call in the Arcane Inquisition. What are you talking about now? Why would the Inquisition be... No. Are you saying that... Unlike the Ornax City Guard, I have a mage capable of casting Detect Magic. My bodyguard, Celeste McCoy, scanned the crime scene for magical traces, and she found traces of transmutation on the broken guardrail. Traces of magic were found at the crime scene? But that would make this a potential homicide, Your Honor. This is ridiculous. The accident took place within an arcane refinery. Those traces could have easily come from the purification process. Miss Steelwind, these traces were found only on the guardrails that Justin broke. We didn't find them anywhere else. We can't be certain of what happened, but it's clear that a mage used magic near the scene of the accident. Foul play may have been involved. So my theory of another person falling into the vat is entirely possible. My client is not at fault for the guardrail breaking. Considering this shocking revelation, there is still much we do not know about Justin Way's death. With that said, I have no choice but to suspend the trial of On Sanctus versus Dracogen. You had a feeling that this would happen. Just like your other cases, the court won't pass a verdict unless a culprit is found. The court will give the Arcane Inquisition time to investigate the scene and these supposed magical traces. We will resume the trial in 2 days' time. Court is adjourned. Well, at least we survived the first day. But it kind of feels like we're back to square one. Yeah. The Inquisition will get involved. They know that magic played a role in what happened. If you want them to dismiss the case against Dracogen, you're going to have to find out exactly what happened. If that's even possible. Hey, are you okay? You feel a headache coming on. Yeah, I think I'm just tired. Well, this day has been exhausting. It's pretty late. We should just head back to the inn and continue the investigation tomorrow. No, I want to take another look at the refinery before the Inquisition gets there. The throbbing pain in your skull seems to disagree with you doing that. Yeah, no, we're heading back to the inn. I'm fine, really. Tyrion, I know you're anxious about the trial, but you need to get some rest. Celeste, it's fine. It's not. You're gonna work yourself. Would you just stay out of my way? Again, your voice came out louder than you meant for it to. Fine, whatever. Do what you want. It's this damn city. Being back here is really getting to you. That's all the more reason to get through this trial as soon as possible. The soreness in your head doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Perhaps she's right. You'll be better off investigating the scene after some rest.